What's up everybody and welcome back to my channel and happy Easter. I know that this may not be the way that we all intended to spend our Easter of 2020, but it's going to be fine because we're here together and we're going to be making some delicious food today, also known as my favorite food. If you don't already know what that is, it is a roasted duck with a red wine reduction, and then we're going to be throwing in some Parmesan roasted carrots, and also since it's Easter, we're going to be making snickerdoodles for dessert. So, let's get cooking. So obviously you need a duck, and it's mostly thawed, but it's still a little frozen, and that's okay. I'm not fancy, so I'm not gonna tie it or cut off the neck. I usually just do that when it's cooking, but yeah, I just wanna let you know. So, salt and pepper, nothing extravagant. We're gonna need some orange juice for the sauce for the duck, some flour because we're gonna make a roux, same with the butter. Then we need some onions for the carrots. Then we need Fairbanks red port wine. So go ahead and place your duck into your roasting pan. Go ahead and drizzle olive oil onto the duck. Use a basting brush and rub the olive oil all over the duck so that way the seasonings stick to it. Sprinkle your duck with just salt and pepper. Your pepper. Go ahead and just flip your duck breast side up because that's where we're gonna start baking it. Salt and pepper. So our bird is ready to go into the oven. We're gonna roast it at 350 for 3 hours, flipping it every hour. And we're gonna make the sauce, so every time you flip it, you're gonna be basting it with the sauce. So for now, we leave the duck as plain as we can, just salt and pepper, nothing on the inside. Pop it into the oven for an hour, we'll flip it, and then our sauce should be made by then. So with the duck in the oven, we're gonna go ahead and start working on our roux to put into our red wine reduction sauce. Then we have to take the duck out of the oven, baste each side with our sauce, then throw it back into the oven for an hour, and then we're gonna start working on our snickerdoodle dough. For your roux, you're going to need 3 tablespoons of butter. I went ahead and melted that already. Add in 1 tablespoon of flour, and then we're gonna mix it with our butter till it becomes a golden brown. So make sure you just keep stirring it so that way you don't burn your flour. So you see how it's this nice golden color and it has this almost thick but runny at the same time? Turn off the heat. Mix it. It's the perfect thing. This is exactly what you want. And now, it's time for our red wine reduction sauce. Start by throwing in your yellow onions. Not a lot. I usually use shallots, but they're out of shallots, so yellow onion will do. We're gonna go ahead and pour in our wine. Just about a cup of it. We're gonna add in some of our orange juice. Not too much. I'd say about half of it. Now it may look like a lot, but you have to just reduce it down. And then we'll add in our roux as a thickening agent instead of cornstarch. So it's pretty reduced. And we're gonna go ahead and add in our roux, just so it gets a little thicker. And now that you've let it sit, it's turned into like that paste that you want. So go ahead and put that in there. You might not need all of it, so don't really like scrape your pan just yet. But you'll see it get thick. Add in a little more. Looks like peanut butter and jelly. And you see, it got really thick. I say this was pretty successful. Let's have a taste. Whoa. really good. That's go ahead and put this sauce onto the duck, then flip it, put it on the other side, then put it back in the oven for an hour, and then we'll do the same in another hour. Okay, so I'm gonna flip my duck. Now let's put our sauce on the other side. Now it's time to put it back into the oven. Set a timer for an hour. Okay, who's ready for Snickerdoodles? This is what we're gonna do. We have to mix our wet ingredients in one bowl, our dry ingredients in one bowl, and then we're going to combine. So, if I move a little fast, I know this recipe by heart, so yeah, but it's very simple. So we're gonna go ahead and start with 1 cup of room temperature butter. Next, we add in a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, packed. 1 1/2 cups of white sugar. Start mixing your butter and sugar together. Now that you have all the butter and sugar mixed, use 2 white eggs. Sometimes I use 3 towards the end, but I always like to make sure. Go ahead and whisk all of that together. Next, we're going to add in our vanilla. Go ahead and set these aside. Let's move on to our dry ingredients. Add in 2 3/4 cup of flour. Next, it's going to be 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay, it says 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, but I like cinnamon, so we're gonna do 1/2 tablespoon. Go ahead and mix all of this together. And then we're going to add salt. Now that you have all of your dry ingredients mixed together, we're going to go ahead and add in our wet ingredients and just kind of fold them in. So make sure that all of your wet and dry ingredients are mixed thoroughly. We're gonna let it rest in the refrigerator for an hour so it hardens, because if you don't know about Snickerdoodles, you roll them into balls of dough and then you roll them in cinnamon and sugar. So they have to be pretty firm to do that. And then put the lid on it and then let it sit in the fridge. So our dough has rested enough. I went ahead and got started on 2, but we're just rolling our dough into the cinnamon and sugar and then just lining our baking sheet. Super simple. Make sure it's evenly coated in the cinnamon sugar, and then just put it on the baking sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop these into the oven at 350. I'd say for about 10 minutes. Ooh, they're perfectly done. That's just like I remember them as a kid. Wow. 10 out of 10. So I'm going to go ahead and pop my duck in the oven for 1 more hour, and then we'll move on to our carrots. So let's take our duck out. Oops. Go ahead and place the rest of your sauce on the back of the duck. Because at this point, this is the last time you're going to be doing this. So we're going to move on to our carrots now. And I want them cut diagonally. Go ahead and drizzle a baking sheet with some olive oil. throw the carrots on there. Spread them around. Go ahead and start seasoning them with some pink Himalayan salt, some black pepper, of course garlic powder, and I'm going to throw some of my yellow onions on there. And then I'm just going to mix them together. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pop these in the oven along with the duck, and then let's move on to our snickerdoodles. My carrots are a little bit overdone, but that's okay. They're going to be a little bit of crispy. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle my Parmesan cheese. And I'm going to leave them on this hot oven for the cheese to just melt onto the pan. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of parsley for garnish. So our duck is finished. We're going to go ahead and just present it onto this cutting board. I'm going to put it on top of these carrots, and then we'll carve it, and then it'll be ready to eat. Okay, so let's check on our duck. I'm going to go ahead and just baste the duck with the remaining sauce in the pan. Okay, let's taste it. Carrot. I'm taken aback. That is delicious. It's perfect for Easter. Amazing. Snickerdoodles were awesome. Duck was amazing. All around my favorite foods. Just like, I couldn't ask for anything better on Easter. So, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notifications bell button so you know when I upload. And I'll see you next time.